It's no secret that crime has increased in recent months, not only in Hamden, but in many towns across the state. The recent spike has Hamden taking preventative measure as well as increasing transparency.
Some people are afraid to come outside. Some people are afraid to go grocery shopping.
It's an uptick in crime that has some Hamden residents concerned. Kim Washington says her house was hit by stray bullets in November.
Solutions, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear that it's a possibility we can get more police officers on the force.
Washington is one of over a dozen Hamden town officials that participated in the Crime Prevention and Community Resolutions panel. The soon-to-be monthly forum gives Hamden neighbors a chance to voice their concern.
It's given the community a voice where they can actually hear questions being submitted and answered.
The conversation offers an update on crime statistics, questions and answers, as well as information on new initiatives. One of those is the Crime Prevention and Intelligence Units launched under new Police Chief John Sullivan.
Find when crimes are occurring and what types of crimes are occurring.
An arrest made within the first 2 days of it being operational. And the PD's had over a dozen arrests in the last 2 months.
Hamden has started up a number of new block watches, helping to expand their coverage through help from residents. There are currently about 30 watches dedicated to alerting police of suspicious activity in town neighborhoods.
This is a proactive approach that we're taking as neighbors.
These crime prevention forums are going to be a monthly occurrence. Mayor Leng says a schedule for the next year will be out soon. In Hamden, Dave Puglisi, Fox 61 News.